Hello, everybody. A couple of hours ago, late this morning, I received word that our friend, my very good friend, Peter Carmichael, passed away. And that happened this morning. And I know he had been sick for the last month and change with some coughing, but I don't know what the cause of death is. Frankly, it doesn't really even matter because he's gone, and that is a huge loss. He was very integral to the Gettysburg history community, especially the Civil War Institute at Gettysburg College. But on a personal level, for me, he became a very good friend to me. And from the first time that we had him on the show, he was an instant supporter. And I have to tell you, and I've said this before, that there's a handful of people who, without whom the addressing Gettysburg would not be what it is today, no matter how small and insignificant it is. It wouldn't even be that if it weren't for a good number of people. It's a handful, like I said, and Pete is one of them. Very early on, I had him on to talk about his book, The War for the Common Soldier. And afterwards, he was very complimentary to me. And he said, I'm going to put you in touch with University of North Carolina Press and get you on the reviewers list. Before I knew it, I was getting books in the mail. And I was like, well, what do I do with all these books? And I obviously interview the authors, but it took me a while to get to them. And finally I did. That enabled my Patreon content to grow. And that made it go from a show about only the Battle of Gettysburg to the Civil War as a whole, because none of those books were about Gettysburg. And so it forced me to learn more than I intended to learn in the beginning, which then forces you, the listeners, to learn more with me. And that's Peter Carmichael who did that. But that wasn't all. That wasn't enough for him. He had to help out more, and he came on the show often, and we always had a lot of fun with him. And I will miss arguing with him about whether or not I'm a historian. I still maintain that I'm not, and I think many will agree. And but I'll never be able to have that argument in such a fun way as I have with Pete before. And then, of course, the biggest thing I think that he ever did was invite me to cover CWI for the last 3 years, which has been one of the most enriching experiences of my life. And it's going to be very difficult to imagine that event without his laughter and his smiling face, and the joshing that he and I used to do with each other. Goddamn, life can be cruel. He's just a great guy that a lot of us are gonna miss, and a lot of us, I've been kind of talking or texting with some people who were close with him, and everybody's just reeling from the whole thing. Everybody is devastated, And we just can't imagine. I mean, honestly, you know, you always hear people say this, but you can't imagine life without Pete. Once he's in your life, once you get to know him, you cannot imagine him not being around. I just saw him on 4th of July, spent a little time with him and Beth, his wife. Very little time. We were doing the video for the fireworks, and he was there as well. And I went inside and I talked with him and Harold Holzer a little bit over the cheese platters. And you know, we were all just having a fun conversation and, you know, teasing Pete, and he would tease us, and it was a great. It was just always a great time with Pete. Never a serious moment, and even when he was serious, he would follow it up with a joke and try to make you laugh. And I love the guy. I truly, really did love this guy, and he was a big help to me. A big help, and it was a personal thing. It wasn't a business help. It was, I mean, it was, but it was personal in that we liked each other and we were friends. And he paid me a very high compliment in the cafeteria at CWI, and he said I reminded him of his best friend who had died. And his wife Beth was there, and she kind of looked at me. She goes, "Well, that's a high compliment." And I didn't know who died, but that he thought that way made me feel good. And I just wish we had more time with him. You know, just a great guy, an all-around great guy. And what you saw publicly was the way he was privately. That's what I loved about the guy. He was just, it's just really fantastic guy. So, so thank you, Pete, wherever you are, for everything you did for me and for our history and education in general. You were one of the best. And to Beth and the girls, we're all mourning with you. And we're all here for you if you need us. I am, and Cindy is, and we love you. And we'll we shall see how we move on. But this is a big loss for us all. So, yeah. Should I read the comments? Let's see. Let me cheer myself up here, Barbara. Oh my, what happened? It's so sad. What happened to Pete? I don't know what happened, and I'll leave that to the family to divulge if they want to. I don't know, but you know, he's gone. Matt, I'm so sorry for your loss. As you know him, as you knew him, I only met him once before concern, but such an important book for me. Yeah, and I think he was in the middle of working on a book, and I don't know if he finished it or not. Jacob says, "Is he dead? Lord, I pray his family finds peace." Hold on, sorry here, I hit a button by accident. I read the Metaphysical Club because of him. Fraser said, "Oh my God, this is so sad." Cliff says, "Oh my goodness, no." McNair says, "Oh my goodness, so sorry to hear that. I've never met him, but was hoping to." Debbie Jones, "This hurts so much. I'll forever be grateful to the show for introducing me to him, though I did not get to me up." Thanks, Deb. And I'm glad I was able to do that for you, Debbie. Josh McDowell, very sad. Sorry for your loss, Matt. Thank you. It's all of us. We all lost, but thank you. Chris says, "I'm truly sorry to hear this. So sorry for your loss, McNair. A loss to the Civil War community and you personally." Yeah, that's, yes. And yeah, it is so sad. Jacob, Indiana loses a native son. He was great. He was. I feel certain that more than one younger want to be a historian will step up and fill his shoes, hard to lose and replace. Oh, I'm sure people will step up to fill his shoes, but none will come close. He had a gift that very few have. Joe says, I met Peter a few years ago, or sorry, a few times. Sorry, there's a glare. I can't make out everything. When I went to Gettysburg, he was a lovely man, an excellent scholar of the war. He will be deeply missed throughout the community. Absolutely will. WTF, says Arnold. Karen says, I'm so sorry to hear the sad news. Marie says, oh man, I'm so sorry. Amanda says, so sorry, man. It's such a huge loss for the Gettysburg Civil War community. It's very sad news, Jeremy. Telling me this ain't real. I wish I could. Beth Wheeler says, in utter shock right now. Yes, we are. Adam, love tuning into your podcast and learning more and more about the battlefield of Civil War in general. It's easy to get caught up in learning details, but forget about the painful loss and human experience. Yes. I hope that's related to this, but thank you. Kevin says, may he rest in peace. I'm sorry, be at rest. See, I'm just making up words. Harold says, so very sorry, Matt. Just another reminder to live every day. Adam says, thank you for the tribute and telling us what he meant to you. It's a very sad loss. Very sad. Pete was one of a kind. He was one of a kind. He was one of a kind. And I hope he knew in life what he meant to all of us, and I hope for all of us who knew him, or even if those of you who didn't, but you're still feeling a tinge of sadness over this. I hope that we all kind of remind the people who do things that mean something to us, even if we don't know them, how appreciated they are, because one day we'll all be gone. And wouldn't it be nice if we knew that we meant something to people while we were alive? So I hope we all do that. And God, I'm gonna work on like a little tribute to him or something like that for when we come back on the show on AG today. Oh, he was so much fun. I had so much fun when he would come on the show. Yeah, it was just a good time with Pete. I'm so glad I got to know him, and I hope none of my scarf jokes hurt his feelings, because it was only out of jealousy that he had such a fine fashion sense that I made those jokes. All right, I gotta get going, folks. I hope you're having a good weekend, and we will talk later. Bye-bye.